Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. It's the best day of the week, ladies and gentlemen. We have a jam-packed show for you guys today. A hell of a lineup. We got Swolder, of course, Ricky Pearsall, Josh Prey, and then I guess we'll let Steve and Chad hop on a little bit later on to, of course, do our pick'ems and talk all things college ball. Sit tight, relax, grab yourself a nice little koozie to keep your drink warm or cold or whichever you need to do. We're suited up here, boys and girls. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and quick little PSA. Braves suck, and they broke my heart today. Without further ado, standing at 4'8", 295 pounds, Mr. Steven Davis Wolderquist. I'm sorry, Dave.
Wow.
That's my bad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the show. I'm not going to keep him waiting any longer. He's in the green room, ready to rock and roll. And usually I have an intro, but I figured, for this one, this is a special guest here, ladies and gentlemen. I had to reach deep into the bag. That's my Ricky Pearsall, if you guys were wondering. I had to reach deep into the bag for the intro here, boys and girls. Okay, I get a special guest to spice this one up. Let's go.
Coach of the Toon Squad at 6'6" from North Carolina is Royal Airness Michael Jordan.
Mr. Ricky Pearsall.
Y'all are clowns, bro. Y'all are clowns.
What? What's going on, Rick?
That was good.
What's
going on? How you doing?
Good, man. I told you before the show. I see you got your own logo on your hoodie there already, man. I love it, man.
Yeah, man. They gotta get me right.
I love it, dude. Real quick, while we're on the topic, man, that catch was once in a lifetime, man. How was just for you, just the reaction after the fact? ESPN top 10 plays. Like, how do you even comprehend that? How do you even digest that when that happens?
Yeah, man. I don't know what was really going through my head at the time, to be honest. Everybody asked me this question. I just remember it was like a lofted ball, and I felt the safety kind of coming down and playing the ball pretty well. So I didn't want to I tried to do my best not to take the biggest hit, and I knew throwing up one hand might be quicker. So I just did it, and then it just stuck. And then at that point, it was just taking the hit and holding on to the ball. And then when I got up, actually, my dad was sitting like row 4 on the 50. I got him tickets right there. So when I stood up, I was staring right at him. So my pops, he was going crazy. Yeah.
Is that who, because you got up and you were yelling. Was that who you were yelling at?
Yeah. Yup.
Oh,
that was my dad.
That's cool.
I actually did that once, but with like a tennis ball. Does that count?
Hey, that's how you practice for it, though. That's how you practice for it, for sure.
So
there you go.
Rick, I mean, I don't think it's no question. You got some of the best swagger in the game. So my question for you is, where does that come from? Where does Ricky? Is that from the mama's side? Is that from daddy's side? Or is that's just Ricky being Ricky?
I guess it might be just a mix of both, but
okay,
it's just me having my own little style, I guess.
Okay, I love it. Good stuff, man. Well, I don't know if you remember, but we had you on the show before the spring game. We had that event. Had a few of you guys come on the show. You actually signed my helmet here, so I appreciate you signing it. And we talked about why you came back to Florida, right? You talked about the draft sheet, little draft cheat sheet that came out, and there's a few things that they said, hey, here's some things that we would like for you to improve on. And you felt that, look, I can do much better than this, than what they're feeling that I am. Have you improved on those things, and how do you feel your stock has risen since coming back this year?
Yeah, I definitely think I've improved on all those things, and I think I've improved on much like other things too. I mean, just having a whole nother year of practice, really what it is, and going into practice against, super good competition too every day is going to make me better. I always tell people this, like during the off season when I'm training, I get so much better than I was the year before, and I pride myself on that. So I definitely think I've gotten a lot better at the things that I needed to work on.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Love it. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, and some of the other receivers, the freshman receivers incoming, have you noticed? Obviously, we've seen probably a lot more of Eugene Wilson on the field than we have seen anybody else. But have you seen what's the biggest? I guess you could say the biggest impact one of these freshmen have had. Do you think it's Eugene, Andy, all of them? I mean, what do you see, especially what we don't see off the field?
Yeah, for sure. I just think they're unique in their own ways, to be honest. Like I always say that Coach Napier did a really good job of recruiting these guys because they all do different kinds of things and they're unique in their own way. Eugene's super quick guy. You got Andy, who's really polished, and then Aiden, he's just a vertical burner. So they all got their own little tools. I mean, obviously, I think Trey has been super impactful for us. He's a big threat when we got little check downs to him. He can turn something little to something big real quick. So I think they all impact in their own ways.
Good stuff. And how's the mindset been? Obviously, we got a big game against South Carolina this weekend. I'm sure you've heard of the woes and whatnot of traveling. How has the mindset and the energy been this practice leading up to this game for you guys?
Yeah, it's been really good actually. I think Montrell just spoke on this question actually during media this day. And he said that like we've had like the best practices we've had since Tennessee, and I think I'm gonna second that and agree with him. I think we've brought really good energy. Obviously, we're emphasizing bringing more energy on the road because we've struggled with that this season. So I think the guys are doing a really good job of emphasizing that and highlighting that during practice. I'm really proud of the guys for these past 2 days. We get to finish off tomorrow, so.
Who stepped up this past week outside the norm to really help carry the energy across the team?
I just want to highlight honestly all the accountability guys and leader guys. We have this little group that we meet with Coach Napier each week just to kind of go over you our past game and what we can do to improve going forward in the next week. And we got guys like myself, AB, we got T-Raw in there, we got Montrell. There's a long list of guys, Princely. There's a lot of guys, but honestly, all those guys have brought in really good energy throughout the week. You got guys like Shamar too. I mean, there's been a bunch of guys that stepped up and brought a lot of good energy, and I think energy like that is just really contagious for a team, and we just build off of it.
So that accountability team, I heard Billy Napier refer to that team earlier this week in the presser, and then you bring it up again. Can you just elaborate a little bit? When I heard that, I was like, "That's pretty cool." Kind of your role in, I mean, obviously the intention of the group is to hold accountability, but what's kind of how does that work for you guys?
Yeah, so we just meet up in the war room as a group, and Coach Napier usually comes in with his little notes and a long list of things that he wants to address right away, and then gives us, some insight on some leadership tips and maybe some things that he read about that we can improve on. And then he asks for us to, jump on and give him some ideas and maybe things that we want changed or that we notice as players. Because, at the end of the day, we're in the locker room, we're on the field, and we have personal relationships with each other. So we just bounce ideas off each other, and then heading into the next week, we bring it to the table and we address that in practice and throughout the locker room and in meetings. And in that room is basically everybody from each position group, the leader from them. So it's a
Okay.
good deal that we get to all come together and basically come we agree on certain things and move on next week and improve on them.
Yeah, and I thought it was you were talking about the preparing for the road games. Obviously, we're 1-7 in road games right now. You defeat Tennessee at home. Obviously, you have a pretty. It was a bad loss to Kentucky away on the road, but then you rebound in the Vanderbilt game. Take us through maybe after the Kentucky game. Was there anything said in the locker room between the coaches, maybe some of the players? What was that like?
Yeah, man, I think all the guys were just super bummed out. We know that we didn't play well, and as players, you're going into a game, you're feeling very prepared, and I just don't think that we brought enough energy, and I don't think it was contagious enough for all the players. And it was just one of those days, man. Like I feel like as an athlete, you just harp on being perfect every single day, but reality is you're not going to be perfect every day. And I think it was just one of those days for us. But there were some things that we could definitely fix and that are fixable for us. So, that part you can look at and be like, oh, that's a light for us because then we can go into practice next week and fix it and move on from it. But yeah, man, I mean, as competitors, we were just all bummed out.
I think the compliment too. It's just, I mean, playing playing Florida football is not easy. I'm sure you've kind of just seen the noise, and but that's what makes it great. All at the same time, we had Tyreek Sapp, and that was why he said he became a Gator. Just because, look, when you're a champion, and when you lose, it's just like you don't want to show your go outside because it's brutal. But that's what makes it again exciting. But I feel like the team has done a phenomenal job of sticking together and working through, and again focusing on the light. And I think that speaks again volume to the leadership and to just this team in general. Do you feel that's kind of a different vibe than things were flowing last year, and that's grown over the 2 years that this team's been together, at least under Billy and Co?
Oh, for sure. I think it's night and day from last year, to be honest. especially in the locker room. I think everybody's developed way more deeper personal relationships, even with myself from, coming in last summer, not really knowing any of the guys.
Sure.
So getting to know them more. And then obviously we had different phases that we did with Coach Napier that allowed us to, build those deeper relationships and get to know each other better. And then obviously just building history with each other out there on the football field and gaining trust for me as a receiver with the quarterbacks. And yeah, so I definitely think it's a big difference for sure, culture wise.
I love that. And a quick question from Yo Beast, $10 super chat. He says, Ricky, what's your favorite cheese? Just kind of spice it up a little
My
bit.
favorite cheese. I don't know my favorite cheese, bro. I don't know. I don't know what my favorite cheese is. I'm not picky. I'm
Fair
not
enough.
picky.
I was about to say that.
I know
That's
why
like
he's
my
asking that question though. So it's funny. It's funny.
Why is he asking it?
Because I just posted this video, NIL video. I don't know if you guys seen it with Farm Rich. It was like the mozzarella sticks. But like I was like I was in the yeah, in the video I was like, oh, that's so cheesy. So I know why he's asking that question.
oh my
That's
So
god.
he's
gold.
trying
That's
yeah,
gold.
yeah, yeah. So he's trying to troll me. He's trying to troll me.
Man,
Yeah,
you're getting it from all angles. You got the Jordan intro, now the cheese in the comments. It's
Yeah,
great, man.
yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I just said I gotta check that out, man. I didn't know it was that cheesy.
Yeah, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I
yeah.
love it.
There's a lot of young people are playing this year, which I think is, you're obviously when you're a freshman, you're going to make freshman mistakes, and they're going to happen. What I think is a really good omen for you guys, especially as a team, is to have these young players on this team. I mean, it's a lot of pressure coming in here as a freshman playing college ball in front of a huge crowd, and you guys, for the most part, have been able to keep it together in the locker room. And like you were talking about the Kentucky game, how you guys bounced back against Vanderbilt. Now you're going on the road to South Carolina. Have any of those? Have you seen any just kind of freshmen try to step up, speak up, say something, or even just like even ask some of the older guys like you and maybe Sap or some of those guys?
Oh yeah, man. I think the young guys have done a tremendous job of stepping up. What I've been impressed with most is just their poise, being out there. Because young guys sometimes get out there and like the lights are bright, but I haven't really seen that. Guys like TJ, he's actually more vocal than I thought he was. He'll come up to me and talk to me a little bit about before the game, but he's been super impressive to me. He was making plays in practice today where I was just actually talking about him. So, and then you got Jakeem. He's super mature too as well. He's very patient at the line, which you don't really see in young corners like that. And then obviously on the offensive side of the ball, we can talk about Trey again. The lights are definitely not bright for him. He looks super comfortable out there. So, I've been impressed with guys like that.
Talk a little bit about
And then I
Graham
can't
Mertz.
forget
Oh,
Castell
go
as
ahead.
well. Actually, Castell, I can't skip him. I gotta bring him up too.
Yeah,
He's a ball player, man.
yeah.
He's really good. I'm super
He
happy for him.
he has been very impressive for coming in as an incoming freshman and doing what he's done. That he's been the probably to me, if you go with young guys and freshmen, he's been the most impressive in the defense right now.
Oh, for sure. I had to make sure I brought that back up. Almost forgot, but I can't forget my dog. Now he's been super impressive for sure. And then even in practice and one on ones, he's always come up to me. He's like, "Hey, you up? You up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm up." And he's like, "All right, let me go." So like he's already got that mentality. So it's gonna take him a long ways for sure.
I wanted to ask who likes to go up against you, who kind of presses you a little bit and makes iron sharpen iron. Where's the fun one-on-one competitions that's really growing during practice for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, all the guys really. I mean, I think the easy answer is Jay Marsh. Just I think that might be the easiest answer for everybody. But even Castell, he's a young guy, but he's very gifted, and I've been really impressed with him. So we compete a lot too. But I'm a competitive guy, so I go out there with I'm gonna win every single time. So
We asked Princely the same question, like who do you go up against on the O line, like who gives you a challenge? He's like none of them. Like I feel like we've got
yeah,
both dogs of their position, and just like they're not gonna say like, hey, like this guy's
yeah,
beating me. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they're good,
Yeah,
but they're not.
that's my humble answer off the field. You don't want to ask me that question when I got my pads on, my cleats laced up. Don't ask me that question. It'll be different.
All right, so okay, so during practice though, obviously you're your teammate, but there's still that competitive edge. Like I'm not gonna get clowned during practice. You talk y'all jabbing up a little bit. You running your mouth and back and forth.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we're teammates, so it's nothing too crazy. But there's a little rah-rah out there with all the guys. But I think that's what like brings more of the energy. All the guys enjoy it, and they know that it comes with the game. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
there's a little bit out there. Sure. It's different, like you're not the same person off the field that you were on the field. And I
Sure.
think all the guys understand that as a football player and just accept it. So it's never hard feelings, never personal when we're out on the football field.
Who's
Yeah.
the biggest shit talker out of all of you guys? Like just like like they're coming, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday, they run it.
The biggest smack talker, we got some guys, but I don't think Cam Jackson stops talking. I think I don't know. I don't know our biggest trash talker, but Cam Jackson's my guy, so I got to call it to him. I'll give him a little shoulder shove every time that we were out at practice just to mess with him. But he's a big dude, obviously. He could take me on. But
All you got to do is just say, hey, if it makes you mad, just take it out on the opponent next week.
yeah, exactly. That's how I get away with it.
His mic'd up clip was incredible. So, and we had on the show. His energy is contagious.
Yeah,
So I believe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's a little
Yeah.
sneak peek right there.
We've obviously we don't get to see Billy Napier behind the scenes. We see him in press conferences and stuff, and he talks about adjusting to certain things, anything that's going on around campus, between players or anything. What's the biggest thing that you've seen from Billy Napier? You've been in the program for 2 years. What's the biggest thing that you've seen him adjust from? Like year 1 to year 2, what was the biggest adjustment Billy Napier's made?
Just, having a full year under him, at least for me personally, I saw a lot of changes. I came in later than most of the guys. They already went through spring ball and all that. But I think he's just a player's coach at the end of the day. So he gets feedback from us and he applies it. And I think all the guys, really respect him for doing that. Because, sometimes that's just rare. I mean, not a lot of coaches do that. But just the detail in his work, I think that he's super detailed. We emphasized recovery this year, so there's been some new little things that we've new tools, recovery tools that we implemented into our workouts, such as like yoga. We've done some pool workouts, just things like that, just small details. But there's been a lot of different changes that he has had. That's Coach Napier. Coach Napier is calling the plays every single play or every single game. So.
Okay.
I
didn't know if
so we saw a tweet.
I think I can answer that part. I think I can answer that part.
There was a tweet somebody posted out today. I was going to read it. I'll read it now because I think it's actually works perfectly. Hey, Billy Napier said with a smile on his face, "My wife asked me about Coach Spurrier saying we should throw it deep more often. That's a pretty good indication." So I love it how the wife's giving a little jab of slinging that football. Hey, we got Ricky out there. Let's get old Air Jordan the football. And let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about Graham Mertz and just what he's been able to do. The transfer coming in, I think there was a lot of hype, a lot of excitement, and you guys were even talking in the offseason, like really excited what he was able to do. Didn't have a lot, of knowing what he could do, but now we've got 6 games under our belt and completing at 80%. I mean, it looks like the team is completely bought in. They believe in him. I see you and him always. I mean, it looks like the chemistry is spot on with you two. Talk about that relationship and just what he's been for the team.
Yeah, for sure. I think right away, honestly, I just want to first say that I'm not really surprised at his like completion percentage or whatever, because as soon as he came in, I could already tell that he was going to be one of those guys that was like a guru of football. And he was always in the film room, always studying our playbook. And when he came in at spring, it was like, okay, he's got all this stuff getting thrown at him, the entire playbook. He's got to worry about what the defense is doing to him. So, at first it was a little bit of like, okay, I got to get used to this playbook. But then after that, we went through summer camp, or during summer camp, that's when it really clicked for him. And all the guys were like, oh, okay, this is a totally different quarterback. And I think it just clicked for him. He got the playbook down, and then he could just play relaxed and be himself. And I think that's like what changed the most. Is just he was just being himself out there, and he's just one of those guys that is super dedicated, super detailed in his craft, always studying. He's always talking to us and all the receivers, making sure we're on the same page. And then honestly, on a personal level, we've developed a really good relationship on and off the field. We're really good friends. We go out and eat probably one time a week before the game, and yeah.
So again, I think you spoke to the things clicking in the summer, and we saw that the spring game, things looked a little slow, right? There was a lot of feedback on that game, but now that makes sense. Again, still trying to digest a playbook, and there definitely was a night and day difference from that orange and blue game to what we've seen thus far. I mean, definitely more clicked, dialed in quarterback, and just his passion on the football field too translates. I mean, I feel like the entire offense, again, it feels like a brotherhood. You guys are focused and really wanting to, obviously, of course, put the best product on the field each week.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were actually laughing about it the other day because I think I got a media question the other day talking about Graham sliding and not sliding and taking unnecessary hits. But I was just gonna say like that just is who he is. You know, he's fighting for every yard. He's a fighter out there. He's a warrior, and all the guys respect that. So
So now
So
the short question: what happened to his hand in the Tennessee game? I noticed it was bleeding. Did it just get cut open?
honestly, I don't know because when I went to ask him, he was like, "Don't worry about it." He was like, we're good, let's go." So I was like, "Okay, okay."
I
And
noticed
I'm
he had
definitely
like
the guy that laugh like in the middle of a game. So like I'm like laughing at him. I'm like, okay, he going crazy right now, but I'm like really relaxed. So I'm just like laughing at him. But yeah, no, he's a warrior.
and he's just
yeah,
super locked in.
y'all upset
Yeah,
all the
he's super
Tennessee fans
locked.
around. Well, I was there at the game, and all those Tennessee fans were not happy. So thank you guys, thank you, because
It's a
they were
great
very
game.
annoying.
Oh, I know.
So obviously, the going into the South Carolina game, Coach Napier talked about some changes being made. So we don't want to run the show too long because he did talk about you guys going to bed early on Wednesday night. I assume the team stays up late watching the show while you guys are usually up. I mean, I just guessing. So your game plan for tonight, obviously, you're gonna I'm assuming cut the shut it down, and then are you guys leaving tomorrow or Friday? Can you talk about that? I don't know if you're allowed to or not. The changes in the
I mean,
travel plan.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, I think I could talk about that. I mean, tomorrow we just got to practice a little easier, shorter practice. More of just going through all of our plays and perfecting it. Because throughout the week, there's those little details that we need to sharpen up a little bit on some of our plays. So tomorrow should be as sharp as it gets throughout the playbook. But then Friday, that's when we actually leave and get there. I got to recheck exactly what time I get there, but I just know tomorrow practice. I'm locked in on that. So
One day at a time.
I
one
got
day
to
at a
ask you
time.
before we let you go. Last year, I interviewed. I got a second with Trevor Etienne, and I said, "Hey, man, we're about to play South Carolina. Are you going to take one to the house?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to try to." And he wound up taking one to the house. So, Ricky, I'm going to ask you:
Oh yeah,
are you going to take one to the house against South Carolina?
absolutely,
Ooh,
absolutely. Yes,
I love that.
yes,
I love
for
that.
sure.
What? So, and we talked last with Tyreek Sapp about his diet, and he gave us a phenomenal answer. He says I'm the worst person to ask about diet because he said he basically was on the Chad Ochocinco diet. Do you have a focus on that? I mean, I think it's just always an interesting thing with being a premier athlete. You got guys that are super locked in on it, guys like Tyreek Sapp, but they look like physical freaks, but
Yeah.
they don't care. Where are you at with that?
No, I for sure am detailed in what I'm doing throughout the day, even like eating and my nutrition. I mean, I'm not like having measuring cups or anything like super detailed, like some
Sure.
bodybuilder stuff or something. But no, I'm definitely eating good for sure. Like I'm making sure I get some protein, some healthy stuff. Honestly, if you ask our nutritionists, they're gonna say I definitely eat healthy for sure. But
And
I'm a big coconut water kind of guy, so any
Yeah.
coconut water company that wants to get at me, come on, let's do it. NIL.
little prime,
Low
Co-
prime.
little
Okay,
coke.
is
Hey,
that have coconut water in there?
That's what it's
uh,
that's its main ingredient.
Oh,
For
okay.
there you
I,
go.
I've never had a prime, so I wouldn't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
All right,
So
Brian,
ingredient is filtered water, and then coconut water is number two. I mean, you can't see that,
Oh,
but
okay. There we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
There we go.
Staying hydrated.
yeah.
See? Stay
So I'm gonna
hydrated right there.
if Prime's listening, man, Ricky Pearsall's right here. NIL
Yeah,
deal right here.
well, we're gonna hook it up. Right, we're
Yeah,
gonna hook it up.
exactly.
So
Get
yeah, I was
at
gonna
me.
ask about the nutritionist. So because it's funny that you have a nutritionist, yet Tyreek's still eating cheeseburgers. So do they give you a plan or is it
Yeah,
a suggestion? Like, kind of talk about that a little bit.
for sure. It's definitely suggestions. Like I don't think they're not there to like force you to eat any certain way.
Okay.
So I mean, Sap gonna do what he's gonna do. But for me, I mean, when I first got there, like I definitely asked a lot of questions because I haven't had anything like that before, like nutrition wise, and how detailed they are over there. So I was asking all kinds of questions. Miss Kelsey over there, she does a really good job for us, and then the rest of the staff too. But yeah, no, I always show them my plate. At first, they wanted to see my plate when I first got there to see what kind of eater I was, but now they trust me because I've consistently showed them good plates. So
Is that what they do? Do they take like what your favorite things are and then kind of make like healthy
That's
versions
cool.
of it or something like that?
yeah, they definitely try to find like certain ways to get around certain foods and still add like what you like. They don't want us to
Mhm.
be over there like force feeding, like almost like throwing up because we don't like the food we're eating. But we're football players. We're gonna burn off a bunch of calories anyway during practice and throughout the week. So they want us to eat a lot.
So,
Have
so
the
what's your
energy for it.
What's your cheat meal?
My
What you eat?
my cheat meal?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. Um, I'll probably allow myself to have like one cheat meal on the weekends, like a big cheat meal. I don't know. I don't know what my go-to would be, but I know I just get one in every week for sure. I have to get one in every week. I don't
You
know
keep,
what it's gonna be this week, but it's not gonna be
You
too good for me.
it's
you
got to
ain't
keep you
joining
sane.
Nick over there at
You
Embers,
feel-
are you?
Oh no, I've been to Embers before. That's a good
Yeah,
spot.
yeah. I've never
That's a
been.
good
I
spot.
need to go.
So I want to ask too. You obviously, I don't know if people know this or not, but you
It's a good
transferred from
spot.
Arizona State, and always the big knock is the talent gap between conferences. SEC is in a class of its own. I want to ask you, and this is actually a fan question from Hunter 51932. Is just how does that talent gap differ from playing at Arizona State in the Pac-12 to the SEC? Is it that much of a gap that we, the fans and the media, lead on, or is it closer than we sell?
Yeah, no, I could see a little difference for sure. I think the biggest difference is the front seven. So you might want to ask like a front seven dude that question, and it might be different from mine because as a skill guy, I think it's not that much of a difference. I think you're gonna
Okay.
get good skills anywhere. But I think the front seven is probably the biggest difference for sure.
That makes sense. Just the big guys in the middle, right? Just the size and just the ability to get it done. And you're right. I think that skill position definitely. I mean, you'll see guys coming from all over. I mean, the cornerback. Just take a look at the draft. I mean, you're plucking cornerbacks and wide receivers from all over the place just because the talent. The line's like this, and so it does
Yeah.
spread much very thin. So that makes a lot of sense for sure. Dave, what else you got, Bubba?
I don't know, man. I just want to. I need Ricky to take one to the house so I can create another video. Have
We
him
need-
and
we
ET
need a
side
clip.
by side each other, making the promise
I got you.
about.
I got you. I
We
got
need a
Tell Merch,
clip.
you.
tell Merch to throw one deep too.
I tell him
Uh,
every day. I tell him every day.
Hey, there you go.
Ricky, tell them where they can find you at, man. Where they can follow you on Twitter, Instagram, if you have those things, so they can follow along when you do tweet. Don't you have a shirt that came out as well with the grab?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I dropped a little bit of merch. Yeah, I dropped a little bit of merch. The link's in my bio. You can find it on my Instagram. It's just ricky.pearsall. And then my Twitter name is Slick Season with a 1 instead of an L. So those are both my handles.
6 season with it. Okay. Well, Ricky, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I hope you had a blast. I know that I did. I think we've got a couple super chats I want to read off just for you really quick. Somebody donated $5. He said, "Go Gators, baby. Ricky, good seeing you. One game at a time, and we believe in y'all. Fans can get annoying, but we'll always be there at full force."
Yes, sir. Go Gators.
Go Gators, man. Can we get a chop real quick before you go?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
go,
let's
baby.
do it.
There we go. Rick, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Later, man.
Y'all
Be
have a
good.
great night.
You too, man. Ricky Pearsall, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to smash the like button. Over 400 people in here right now. Good to see all of your beautiful faces. A couple super chats. Fish Reef says, "Tell Holly to look at the show to see how a real wide receiver looks like." Nice shoe collection back there, my man. Good luck Saturday. Let's get it. Let's go. I love it. $5 from Jay Drizzle. Oh, no, I missed this one. Sorry, Lou. He's $10 from Uncle Lou. Says, "What's it like to lose to Georgia?" It's unbelievable.
all right.
I'm sorry, Uncle Lou. I was a little behind on the super chats. I'm glad I missed it though. I'm glad I missed that comment. We're supposed to have Josh Prey here on in just a moment. Hopefully he'll hop on here and we'll continue on with the show and get rocking and rolling. Let's see here. Yeah, I told him about 9:10ish. So we finished a little bit early with Ricky, but great interview thus far. I mean, hey, those were phenomenal questions. I love that he took it to the house. I love how we got the merch questions in there. He answered everything. I think we got a lot of information. And look, right on cue. That's Holly. Oh, well, this isn't what I was hoping for. Well, let's say hi to Holly real quick before we get Josh Prey. How we doing, Steve?
What's up, big man? How you doing tonight?
We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty well.
Good,
man.
good to have Ricky on, man. He's a good interview. He's a good interview. I was gonna drop a super chat in there to see what his thoughts were on the split between him and Johnny Wilson when they were both at Arizona State. Obviously, they both left the same year, and if they still had any connection, if they still chatted, what kind of relationship they had, considering that they left the same team to go to rival teams.
Why didn't you? That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's your interview.
I mean, you're part of the show. You could have.
I know. I was keeping track of what was going on in the chat. We got Daniel Rivera in there, so I got to try to keep a tight leash up on here. I've got other things going on.
Fair enough. Well, look, while we're waiting on Josh Prey, Steve, we're gonna hop to Gators by the numbers with Dave and I, and then
right.
Once we get Josh Prey in here, we'll rock and roll Josh, and then Steve, we'll bring you back, big guy. We love you. So.
Oh, you know where to find me, baby.
Look at this. Uncle Lou, man. Thank you, Uncle Lou. You didn't have to do that, man. $50 from Uncle Lou says, cry some more, chat trolls. I don't need a reason to support good content. I appreciate it, Uncle Lou. I know Uncle Lou's a good troll. I love it. I don't know why we hate on Uncle Lou so much. He does a phenomenal job over there. I was talking to him the other day in the chat as well. Need him to hop on and get him on for the Florida Georgia week. So you got to go check Uncle Lou out. Whether you hate him or love him, the guy spits truth most of the time.
Man, your season is over segment on Sunday afternoon is my absolute favorite. The live show that he was doing when Miami had their meltdown was one of the funniest damn things I've watched, and I watched that damn thing twice. And I watched it live with him, and then I watched it again on Sunday when he posted it. And my gosh, Lou, you were cracking me up, my man. It was hilarious watching you just literally react to this meltdown as it was happening. It was awesome.
Yeah, I have to watch that.
Because
I was cracking up about that whole thing too. So.
Thanks again, Uncle Lou, man. Appreciate you, boss. Let's get to by the numbers. Mr. David Swalquist. Gators versus the Cocks by the numbers here. $5 from Between the Hedges says, give him hell, Uncle Lou. Go Dogs. I love it. I love we got a lot of dogs in here. It's fun. I think it's a good little family event that we got going on here. But
we need a mixture of like Florida State, Georgia, we need some LSU. It's healthy. It's healthy to have a bunch of shit talking in the chat. It's great.
It is. It keeps the blood pumping for sure. We didn't do this last week against Vandy. Didn't think we needed to, and thankfully we did not. But obviously, South Carolina should be a good matchup. Look, I said this against Kentucky. We favored well with the PFF numbers, but that defense was much better than I think it led on to believe. Although Georgia handled them nicely. But let's talk. Look, we'll let you do a little comparison of top 100 players in the PFF. So quarterback play, damn near tie with Spencer Rattler, and Spencer Rattler has been pretty exceptional given the fact of his O-line just being non-existent. For the QB1 for us, he was 55, I think, 2 weeks ago, so he dropped down a little bit, not too much of a difference there. Running backs, Trevor did drop out. You got to think him not playing against Vandy definitely hurt that. He was like 116, I believe. He was up very high before that. So we could have almost gave the nod there for one, but it is what it is. As for linemen, this is including D-line and offensive line. It's 5-1. So TJ Searcy, Princely, those guys, Cam Jackson's in that list as well. Jake Slaughter's still up there. So the offensive line and D-line is making huge steps. They only have one lineman. Wide receiver to tight end, we've got 2-1. Eugene Wilson's up there. Ricky is not up there. So, or was he? No, he was 99. Excuse me. He was number 2. I think what we saw, if we can get the same production out of our list, we'll start to see him climb up that ladder as well, possibly seeking in that top 100. And then DB, safeties, and linebackers were 2-1. I believe it was Kimber and Shamar James were the two names that were up there. But again, we've seen some, and Jordan Castell was not, which I was surprised. I want to say that he was just a few weeks ago. I think he might have slipped out. So pretty close to a 3-3 if we want to get a little dicey with it. So looking at just this, again, quick little by the numbers, by the talent-wise, Florida has the edge here. And this is where, again, going into South Carolina, outside of it being a travel game, right? Because I feel like that's our weakness. That's our kryptonite at this moment, is going on the road to South Carolina is where things are going to, be an issue. And Spencer Rattler's going to do a lot of great things, but again, that O-line isn't anything exciting about. And you have some numbers that we're going to break down even more in regards to rush defense. So I'll pass it over to you, big guy.
Yeah, I crunched numbers a little bit here, and I like teamrankings.com because they factor in FBS opponents and they leave the FCS opponents out, so it doesn't really you know how you can you pad the stats with FCS opponents, so it keeps those guys out and it gives you your actual numbers against the actual FBS opponents this year. And in points per game, South Carolina is 93rd right now. In total yards per game, they're 83rd. Offensive rushing yards per game, they're 120th. I mean, they're not rushing the football at all. When you look at their actual rushers, Rattler's actually second on the team with 203 yards, and he averages 8.5 yards per rush, but it's only 8 attempts. So it's your yards per rush is probably going to be a little bit exaggerated there with 8 attempts, and he has 10 runs and 10 plus yards or more, which leads the team in 10-yard rushing yards as well. So the quarterback is rushing the football better than all the running backs on the team. The only other person who leads the team in rushing is Mario Anderson. He's rushed for 230 yards. He averages 5.2 yards per attempt with 44 attempts, and he's only had 2 runs of 10 plus yards or more. So it's like when you look at it, they're not a good rushing team. Their O-line's been pretty bad. When you look at their defensive numbers, they're 95th in scoring defense, allowing 31.5 points per game against FBS opponents. Total yards given up per game, they're 125th, giving up almost 500 yards a game, 472.8. Rushing yards given up per game, 156.8. That should bode a little bit well in our favor. They're ranked 78th. Passing defense is where I look at this and I'm like, wow, because I did not know that they were this bad passing on defense. 129th in the nation. They're allowing 316 yards passing. Penalties per game, they're 81st, allowing 6.5, but Florida's like 113th in that category, allowing like 7.4. So, yeah, you got to clean up the penalties there. But when you look at it overall, I mean, Spencer Rattler, 72.1% completion rating. He's thrown 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, but he's been sacked 21 times. Florida's got to get a sack in this game. They got to get 2, 3, 4. I mean, you have to get some pressure on this struggling offensive line. They're only averaging 81 rush yards per game as a team. So they can't even run the ball. And for Spencer Rattler to have 1,400 yards passing, 72% completion rating, it's pretty good for not having an offensive line. We remember 2020 with Kyle Trask. We couldn't really run the football. Trask had to pass the whole season, and he broke like season passing records and everything else. Unfortunately, our defense was not the greatest, and we still lost 4 games. But, for Spencer Rattler to have those sort of statistics, that's pretty good. And what really worries me, and I guess when it comes up to matchup wise, is Florida's kind of struggled a little bit on those deep shots. They give up one in Utah. They gave up a couple against Vanderbilt. We know, Jason Marshall's, helmet got tugged on. It didn't get called, but it was there, and Vanderbilt scores. But lately, if you looked at it, and I don't have the statistic pulled up here, but every time a team has tossed at least past 20 yards, they've been able to hit it, at least if it was like 30, 40 yard or a big bomb. So that's the only thing I guess that really worries me about it. But if you're getting pressure on Spencer Rattler all just the whole game, he's not going to have time to drop back and throw deep. But the person that does scare me, if he was able to do that, Xavier Legette, everybody knows him. He's one of the best receivers in the SEC right now, 606 yards. 232 yards after the catch. He's caught 84.2% of his receptions, which is actually really good because those factor in when you throw the ball. If you overthrow a football, that's not really on the receiver. That's on the quarterback. He has an 83.4 PFF grade, and he's accounted for 19 first downs, which is 25% of the team's first downs on the team. So that's a guy to look for in the backfield. And you also got the tight end, Trey Knox, who's second on the team with 164 yards. He's 9.6 yards per reception. I mean, it's not really anything that jumps off the screen to you. I mean, when you go down and look at some of the receivers, there's not really any impressive numbers. And I hate to say that because it's like, I don't want to say that South Carolina is just going to be one of those pushover teams because of how we struggled on the road this year.
Sure.
But if you look at it on paper and you compare Florida statistics to South Carolina statistics, you watch a little bit of film, Florida should easily be able to win this football game, even easier than Kentucky. And I think that's the issue right now is like, I don't want to sit here and be like, okay, well, we easily got this game won because I thought that against Kentucky because they haven't played anybody. But at the same time, we didn't know what kind of team Kentucky was. We came out flat, no energy, and just let them run 280 yards. They can't pass the ball. The only thing we had to do in that game was stop the run. And we probably would have won that game. That's what Georgia did. I mean, they stopped the run. They knew O'Leary couldn't pass. They put up 51 points on him. So I think Florida, if they stick to their game plan, I think if they get some pressure on the quarterback, I think they'll be all right. I mean, I think Florida's going to be able to run the football. They're giving up a lot of rushing yards, passing yards as well. Should be an easy game for Florida to win. But as I said, the road game curse, we really don't know what to expect. But I think Florida's going to be a little bit more prepared this time, just based considering on that Kentucky game that we just talked about with Ricky Pearsall.
Absolutely. And we got Josh Prey waiting here for us now. So we're going to get over to him to talk the rest of the matchups here. So let me get Josh Prey on the line, and then we'll keep moving with Florida versus South Carolina. Josh Prey, how we doing, man?
There he is.
Good. Can y'all see me? Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
Yeah, good to go. We're rocking, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I actually just I don't know if y'all remember the movie Little Giants, when Al Bundy or Ed O'Neill tried to show the player how to do a move and he ran through the window and hit the branch.
Yep.
I just tried to show my 17-year-old son something, and my son hit me in my mouth. So my mouth is swollen. I got to sit down. That's why I was kind of late.
Kind of late. I can see, right? It looks a little. Can we get the light on
slow,
it?
Right?
It is very slow.
Probably why he's got the light off.
Like he might be like grounded and everything for a while.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Josh Prey. I don't think any introduction is needed. A fanatic like the rest of us about the Florida Gators. You've got incredible videos of just your energy and your passion of being a Gator fan. So talk to us a little bit, man. We're just talking the Gators versus South Carolina. How are you feeling going into this game, man?
I actually feel extremely confident. I didn't get to do a Gator hype video this week because I've kind of been bad luck for our team. But I do think this is a statement game, not a trap game. I think Spencer Rattler is a very athletic quarterback, but I do think our defense is coming along. I did think our cornerbacks will be our stronger points this season. It hasn't turned out that way as of yet, but I do think this game, we take this game by 14 or more points because I think we have something to prove. Our run game looked great, and Mertz looks phenomenal. I don't care that he has check down plays. I don't care that he's not throwing the ball down the field as much, but Mertz looks phenomenal, and I think he's going to play well.
No, absolutely. I think Mertz has done his job thus far. We kind of talked about that on Monday a little bit on what he's brought to the table, and he's gone over his expectations, in my opinion, at least, on what we were hoping he would accomplish.
Nah, I think Mertz is way more, like a lot of people call Mertz a game manager. Now, we got to stop disrespecting Mertz. I think he's way more than a game manager. I think he's making great decisions. He's not turning the ball over. He's getting us great down and distant plays. Me personally, I think we have the better quarterback in this matchup, which would sound super weird at the beginning of the season. And I think with our quarterback play and our run game and our defensive line pressure, I like us by 25 points, and it might keep going up the more y'all ask me.
I was like, it was 14 a minute ago.
It's 25 now.
It's 25 now. There you go. You heard it.
So I don't know if you heard, but we've got Montrell coming back. Austin Barber will be back. They were both out for the Vandy game. And then Arlos having a monster game last week, and Eugene Wilson really stepping up. Who do you like to have a big game? Like, who do you think is going to even shine even more in the South Carolina game on the road?
Eugene Wilson. We got to get Eugene Wilson the ball. A guy that I follow on Twitter, great guy, T Black. He said the difference between Eugene Wilson and Percy Harvin was Percy ran between the tackles. I do think Eugene has the athletic ability to get between the tackles. Now, I'm not saying he needs to be a running back, but I would like to see him on some jet sweeps going under that tight end or between the tackle and the tight end. I do think it's going to be a breakout game for him. He's teetering. He's right there, and everybody knows we got one. So I do think he's going to have a breakout game.
Yeah, I think the only difference is their jerseys.
Yeah.
Nah, we ain't gonna say that now. I named my son after Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin can have a statue at my mama house. Like it was more than just a jersey. Now let's stop it. If I could swap lives with anybody, I would be Percy. Stop it. But
I'm kidding.
I'm definitely looking forward to Eugene to have a huge game. And I like the fact that Coach Billy Napier is starting to lean on the true freshmen and giving them some respect and trusting them more with the football.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing that Dan Mullen will go out on ESPN and say, "Oh, well, Napier's not doing a great job." Yet there's a bunch of freshmen that are outperforming his recruits, which is even funny.
I like it though. I like the fact that Mullen takes shots at the University of Florida because that's what it's about. No ex-boyfriend likes the new boyfriend. You supposed to kind of hate on him, call him a little goofy, take a couple shots at him. Give us another, and again, I was one of the fans because I'm a crazy delusional fan. I still believe we're not losing the game. We win the SEC championship and we sneak into the college football playoffs with 2 losses. I'm stupid like that. I believe that. But as far as Napier, you give Napier about another year, and the University of Florida is going to be a very dangerous program.
So this is why me and Josh are gonna just we're 2 peas in a pod. A lot of people are gonna hit me up to have you on the show because that same kind of energy. That's the same energy that I put all the time. People are like, hey, who are you picking this game? Who do you mean we're picking this game?
Like we going bro. Like if you tell me, Josh, the Gators gonna beat Alabama by 12 or your kid's life, I like us by 15 points. What do you mean? Yes, like I'm going broke betting with the Gators.
Now, has that South Carolina spread went up to like 35 now?
Florida Gators by 29. And if y'all keep talking, I'm gonna give South Carolina 6 points. We are a hot team. The Kentucky game was, and I've been a Florida Gator fan since 1993. I'm 39 years old. The Kentucky game was probably some of the worst Florida Gator football I've ever witnessed. Like, we just seemed outmatched. We were outcoached. We weren't prepared. We weren't ready. And I still feel like we was having a hangover from that Tennessee victory, right? So that Kentucky thing is it was a nightmare. It was Freddy Krueger in a lace front wig on South Beach. It didn't happen. It was terrible. But we're here now. And I feel like we're going to show up and we're going to show out. And I love the fact that the players interact with some of the people online. I do hate that some people take it too serious, but I love the fact that the players are paying attention to what we're saying, and they got a point to prove as well.
Yeah,
go ahead, Dave.
I think it's normal for a fan to be frustrated or angry. Everybody gets angry if they're losing, but like when you take it too far on social media, that's when it's like, okay, dude, I'll make a tweet annoyed, but I'm not going to go tag a player in it.
Now you gotta calm down, and you gotta remember, as a fan, sometimes I made a video and I said this is all I got, and people thought it was funny, but I was being serious. Like, this is all I have. I have nothing else. When the Gators lose, I don't want to read ESPN. I don't want to read any articles. I don't want to see no tweets. I'm sick to my stomach when they lose. So as a fan, it makes me feel better. But I do understand at the end of the day, it's just a game. So some of us got to get it together, and we got to go outside and touch grass and bow our heads sometimes.
Hey, Josh, is it fair to say that you
he's got that Gator in him? That's what I would tell you.
Is that fair? Is that fair to say?
Listen, I'm a Gator. I'm a Gator through and through.
So you were talking, you kind of referenced Billy in another year. Obviously, it's always a topic of discussion where you're at on the Napier train, just for Gator fan bases. So elaborate some more on your feeling of Napier and what he's doing, and you know, just the take on, we need an offensive coordinator. Do we need one? Do we not need one? Where you at?
We do need an offensive coordinator. We need some spunk, some pizzazz. Being a Gator fan, we are probably, and I hate when people deny it, we're probably the most arrogant fan base in college football. We haven't won a national championship since 2008, and the way we act, you would think we've had 3 or 4 dynasties. So we're spoiled, and we'll forever be spoiled. We got 24 color combinations for our uniform. We look better than Oregon. As far as offensive play calling, Billy Napier, he's very meticulous, and I understand it. But I do think he's smart enough and he's humble enough to say, you know what? We have to change the way we do some things. Not necessarily he's a bad play caller, but we want to see, as Gator fans, we want to see the 70-yard touchdowns. We want to see the reverses. We want to see our players run past defenses and make them look like they're walking. So you have to give a meticulous coach who's very detailed. You got to give him a little bit of time. And us being frustrated after we lose, you got to ignore that. We're not really wanting to fire a coach. We're just frustrated. Even when we beat Vanderbilt, we wanted to score 70 points, but that's the Brandon Spikes fan base, the Percy Harvin, the Danny Werfer and Ike Hilliard, even the Rex Grossman fan base. We've seen those days, and we're just itching to get them back because we're watching teams like USC put up points. We're watching teams like LSU put up points. So I do think Napier knows what he's doing. I think he needs a little bit more time. Now, do you go 5-6 this year and then go 5-6 next year and him have a secure job? Absolutely not. But we're building a foundation and we are getting the players like Eugene Wilson, like Andy Jean, like ETN. We are getting the players we used to have. We just have to practice a little bit more patience. And I love the fact that Napier is honest and he's detailed in his responses. So you got to respect the man like that. There's no smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that, like, without the OC, we know how to do the victory formation.
Yeah. And we know how to kneel when the game is in hand.
That's right.
Yes, sir. There's a $5 super chat from Brendan. Says, folks saying Napier doesn't fire up the troops enough. We need to send in Josh.
Nah.
Would you take the call if Napier say, hey, Josh, come hype him up?
Listen, if they ever allow me in the locker room to give us a pregame speech, if y'all ever seen the movie The Program, that's what it's gonna look like coming out. Somebody's gonna be busting out car windows with their head, and we gonna be, oh my God, it's gonna be body bags everywhere. Like y'all don't understand how much I love being a Florida Gator. Like it's it's so sad. Like a team shouldn't control my emotions the way the University of Florida controls my emotions. And I didn't graduate from there, but they have a direct key to my emotions and my health. Like
I feel no, look, so you said that. I texted my buddy today because we're watching the Braves game. And I said, I listen to what I texted him verbatim. I honestly hate how much this affects my health.
Listen, and it ain't gonna change. Like this is universal. Like when we were playing Kentucky, I was in when we were playing Kentucky, I believe I was in Cleveland, and I was performing, and I'm backstage about to perform, and I'm checking the score, and we're getting blown out, and I'm sick to my stomach. In my first line, I usually go out there and I do my first 2-3 minutes as a bit. It was about the University of Florida, why I was in Ohio. And those people ain't want to hear that, but they had to get that message like, I'm sick, I'm depressed, I am sad. Let's get on with this show. So the University of Florida, they have a direct line to my emotions. Like they control me, like 100%.
And this is why I try to explain a buddy Cody, the professor, because my emotions are up and down. Like you're literally depressed. Like when your team loses, it's this emotional roller coaster. And obviously, high energy guys, like that's what makes us great. But there's the bad side of it when it's bad.
And people don't understand. Being a Gator fan, listen to any other fan base out there. We are better than you, and we know it. We are better than you. Our women look better than y'all. Our men are way more masculine and muscular than you guys. Our Southern hospitality is more Southern. We just better than everybody in the world. And we know it. And the fact that we can't win just makes me want to cry a lot. Like every single year, I expect to beat Georgia. Every year. This year, Florida Gators by 21. You know what?
Yes, sir.
Gators 34, South Carolina 3. We beat them by 31 points. It just went up. But we are better than everybody. And that's why when we are having down years, the logo still holds weight because we're the University of Florida, where we got some of the greatest collegiate athletes. We got the greatest college football player of all time, Tim Tebow. And I'm just getting so much anxiety right now because this is supposed to be a different conversation. I ain't supposed to be preaching like this. But yes, I get sick, and we gonna win by 39 this Saturday. We have to.
I love how the light in your room just like slowly got brighter as you went on your rant.
As I spoke, right? I look like Mr. Potato Head in this camera too. I don't like how fat I look. I look like Ruben Studdard. Like I look like an American Idol. I'm sorry for 2004. My gosh.
That's just in arms, man. The arm, you know.
No, my face looks like it's 29 pounds. Like I look like I have no neck. I'm looking at my own neck. Like, is it just a head on a chest?
Okay, Josh, when I'm looking for a photo for you, have you seen your Google photos? The range?
Oh yeah, listen. I go from BET model to black redneck to Haitian pastor to wedding preacher, and then everybody's saying I'm looking like this defensive lineman from the Detroit Lions as of late, Mr. Lewis, and he reached out to me, and they're sending me an outfit, so I got to do the who wore it best picture this coming week.
All right, can I pull it up? Can I pull up your Google?
I hate you. Go ahead. You got permission.
Look, the reason being because I'm trying to find a photo. I'm like, I don't know what one I don't know which one he wants me to pick. Like literally, like you said, one, you're a BET model.
Listen, in those pictures, I was skinny. That means I was real broke. I wasn't eating. It was ramen noodles and Dasani water. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. So this is range, boys. I didn't know if I should hit him with this one. You know what I mean? Like
listen. In that picture, that was definitely a ramen noodle and sink water picture right there.
But then look at it. Hey, we got the off look camera. You know what I mean?
I ain't have a stomach right there. Now, right there, I was a bad man. I was definitely looking at like 4 or 5 entanglement situations.
And then look. All hell broke loose.
Okay. That could be explained. What the hell was I doing with no clothes on? What is wrong with me? Okay, listen. Now that's when I accepted my dad bod, because the women were saying the dad bod was hot, and they were saying men can have stretch marks too.
Okay. And then linebacker.
Oh, I was fine right there. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was fine. Oh, look at that. I look like Joey Porter. I look like Brent. I look like Siler in that picture. Oh,
he's
my
got them
gosh.
Flow rider arm.
Look at that.
I'm dying. So I'm glad that we're on. I knew you were going to be on the same page as me when I was going through this. I was like, look, this is the photo I used for this. Look.
That photo was from 2015. Man, that was definitely paper food stamp time.
This is like hey, this is your profile pic for Plenty of Fish.
Oh my gosh, not Plenty of Fish. Oh my god. I probably still got a Plenty of Fish profile right now. I gotta go check that. I guarantee there's somebody out there that want to date me on Plenty of Fish.
That's the photo.
Your age is showing, Ed Sheeran. Okay? Ed Sheeran.
You saw the MySpace, by the way?
My cheeks
you said MySpace?
My cheeks hurt.
Nah, that's definitely Plenty of Fish. And listen, nobody that's watching this podcast right now, don't act like y'all never had a night where you created a Plenty of Fish profile and you met somebody at the Cheesecake Factory trying to be impressive because they have a menu thicker than the Bible, and we've all been there. Stop it. Don't judge me.
This is incredible. This is incredible. No, the Ed Sheeran got me. Like that's gold. I love that.
You definitely could have been in the Lord of the Rings, Pippin. Don't even act like nobody has never said that to you. I can't carry the ring, but I'll carry you, Mr. Frodo. Stop it.
I can listen to him all night.
I get picked on, but not at this this level. I love this. This is
how your
shows are?
You roasted me by showing my love handles and my hip dips.
I'm here for it. I love it. I didn't roast. I was just on Google. I just Googled. I wasn't trying to pick a fight.
Google are liars, man.
Now they got all these romantic sites like Tinder, you know?
Never had Tinder. I probably should create a Tinder and look for a woman that's a Florida Gator fan. But with my luck, they'll probably be a Miami Hurricane or a Florida State Seminole.
I'm hot.
Yeah,
I'm sweating. Josh, let me before we let you go.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've heard of the travel prep this weekend headed into South Carolina. I kind of wanted to. I spoke about it, but I wanted to get Dave's thoughts too on this. He talked about it. Did you hear about him? If you're not, I can explain them real quick.
I haven't.
So the adjustments were they're going to shut it down early on Wednesday night. And then they're going to arrive to Columbia a bit earlier than I guess they have arrived previously when they've gone on the road, and they plan to get to the stadium a bit earlier. Those were the 3 takeaways. I haven't heard if there's any other groundbreaking movements, but it was better than just saying, nope, we're going to do everything the same. He did acknowledge they are going to change the travel plans to be sure we have some energy on the football field. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think energy has ever been our problem. I think playing up to expectations, and I'm speaking as if I was on the team. I'm only a fan, but I think our players, we put so much pressure on them because there's a Gator standard, and I don't think the players get a chance to be loose and to just like have a feel for the game. So I do appreciate our coaching staff getting them up there earlier and trying different things. But I do think we're going to see a completely different football team for the rest of the season, because a lot of people took that Kentucky loss personal, because regardless of how good Kentucky is, we don't lose to Kentucky. So I think that was the fire that we needed lit under us.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot different from just going into Utah and saying we're going to get in and get out. That's for sure. So,
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and you heard Ricky talk about how, he listens to the players, and maybe he had a conversation with the players and said, hey, would it be better if we arrived earlier or later? We don't know what the discussions are like back there, but like, as long as it works for the team and we don't come out flat on the road again and we're 2-7 instead of 1-8 on the road,
yeah,
I'm pretty happy with it.
I think we're gonna be great, and I do think people are overestimating, and this may be the arrogance in me, this may be the Steve Spurrier in me. I think people are overestimating South Carolina, and they're underestimating how good the Florida Gators really are. Because of that one game, we're gonna constantly be judged by it until we beat South Carolina and we run through Georgia like we're supposed to run through Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to
Can
run
we get a
through
final score
Florida
prediction?
Gators 42, South Carolina 6. Stamp it.
Okay, thank you for answering my question.
We beat them 38-6 last year.
Well, Josh, go get some ice in your lip, my man. I appreciate you. Hey, you're welcome to come back on here and level my ass. And that was pretty juicy. Level my ass any day of the week, man. Tell them where they can follow you at. I know you got your shows and stuff. Tell them how they get tickets and come watch you perform if you're roasting the audience as well.
Listen, I appreciate y'all having me on. I would absolutely love to come back here. I love the positive energy, and I love being a Gator. You can follow me at Josh Prey on all social media. I will be in Miami in the beginning of November, Iowa, DC. I got a lot of shows coming up, but joshpraylive.com. That's all my live appearances. Please support live comedy. Support me online. Keep being positive. Keep being blessed. Be righteous. Love everything, and whisper the wrath. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you. Hey, when you coming to Jack's?
Jack and Kill, Florida. When I get some security, that's when I'll be to Jack and Kill, Florida.
What about Atlanta?
Wait, what about what?
Atlanta?
I don't really know about Atlanta, man. Atlanta kind of
sus.
Yeah. This is a great show. This is an awesome show. Thank y'all for having me.
I appreciate you, Josh. Be good, man. Go Gators, baby.
Yeah. Be good, man. Well, I hope you...
Bro.
Get caught in Atlanta.
What the hell just happened?
How are you going to follow that up, Steve?
I don't know. You can't set me up like this, man. Like, how you bring me on after that? I got nothing. I got nowhere to go with my life now with this. The only thing I can say is Florida 45, South Carolina -7. That's it. That's the only thing I can do at this point. That's all I got left. That's all I got left in me, bro.
My cheeks hurt.
It's
Boys,
too funny.
I mean,
Ed Sheeran got me. I was done.
That got me, bro. That got me. I've never heard that one. I never heard that one before. I love that. Best day of the week, boys. I don't know. I mean, who's out here doing it? You know what I mean? Smash the like button, subscribe. Happy to have all of you guys here, as always. One last little thing here. Let's be sure, again, a huge shout out to Florida Victorious for us having the ability to have Ricky Pearsall on. Be sure to check out Florida Victorious and use the code HIGHTOP when you sign up with Florida Victorious. What do they get, Dave, when they use the code HIGHTOP?
20% off the first month's membership.
So, again, we can continue to have these great interviews with that support of the Florida Victorious. We've got another event coming up November 3rd, or it's the 4th, or 3rd, I believe, the game before Arkansas. We're going to be doing a live stream there. So, again, huge shout out to Florida Victorious. Incredible. It's obviously, since it's changed hands, it's been exceptional. It's done a lot of great things. So, again, go show them some love and continue to support the Florida Gators. And, again, use the code HIGHTOP for 20% off your first transaction. And smash the like button, guys. Over almost 400 people in here all night tonight. Appreciate your guys' love and support as always. So smash that like button. Let's dive into Steven Chat. Give us your score prediction, man, of this South Carolina game before we move on to anything else, though.
We were chatting about it a little bit here in the chat earlier. I'm gonna go with 31-14 for Florida, and I think probably 17 for South Carolina. I've seen a little bit of South Carolina, and I have not been impressed. I think Spencer Rattler's regressed more than he's progressed. I'm putting South Carolina kind of in the same boat as Pitt, whereas it sounded like and it looked like going into the season that both of those teams had a lot more promise, and it looked like they were going to have a better season ahead of them than either team has played, and they've played about similar competition, and they just don't look good. They don't look consistent. They've been lackadaisical against teams that they should be just kind of steamrolling over. I don't know. I don't feel like South Carolina is really hitting on all cylinders. I don't think Spencer Rattler is good enough. He's athletic, but I don't think he's good enough to carry that team on his shoulders, and the rest of the team just isn't doing enough for him, especially on that defense. And I think Soder went over that when you guys went over the numbers. That rushing defense for South Carolina is abhorrent. It is just absolutely terrible, and that is just really kind of honed into what Billy wants to do. So if you guys can get that running game going, Mertz might be able to throw the ball 12 times the entire game, and you guys are still score 31 points. I see a 31-17. I think you guys get four touchdowns and you sprinkle in a Trey Smack field goal there.
Good
maybe
answer,
a
Steve.
long one just to let him show his leg.
Good answer, Steve. So obviously, boys, let's get into the pick'ems here. Sponsored by MyBookie. Again, guys, if you guys want to be degenerates and lose money with us every weekend, be sure to head over to mybookie.ag. Use the code HIGHTOP to get a little special extra cheddar with your deposit. And again, I don't know if you should follow us anymore. Maybe you should fade us. I don't know. I don't have the answers for you, but you could lose with us. I mean, it's been heartbreak for me a lot here recently. It's been a drag. It's brutal. Yeah. It's brutal. We have a go ahead.
I was going to say, don't take any betting advice from me. I just report the news.
Well, Dave's catching me, and I feel embarrassed. All the crap that I gave Dave, and I'm only 1 point ahead of him now currently. So that's just atrocious on my part. Steve is kind of staying along. It's still close. But we and Steve's still positive. He's still 500. So if you followed Steve, you'd still be in the positive. Again, guys, go to mybookie.ag and use the code HIGHTOP when setting up your account to get some extra love and cheddar. Let's move on to where is the
Oklahoma did me a solid this week, by the way. You guys were giving me a hard time considering how much I dislike Oklahoma. I don't like picking them in anything, but man, I did not feel that Texas was ready for that defense. I thought Venables had been planning for that game all year, and I thought he was going to be ready to go. That was a hell of a game. If anybody didn't see it or if you didn't catch the highlights, man, one hell of a football game to watch.
Yeah, I was watching that in the noon. That was like the first game I put on when I woke up. It was a good one too.
So first order of business, and that's this, guys. We're going to go into the depth chart really quick. There is some changes on the depth chart, so we will go over that after the pick'em show here. So first order of business, obviously, is the Cocks versus the Gators. Gators are getting 2 points. I'm going to go ahead and go first. You know where I'm headed. Go Gator.
Yeah, I've already showed my hand. I'm gonna go with Florida on that one. Big.
Yeah, it is Cocktober, but I think we're gonna chomp on the Cocks.
Okay. All right. Tennessee versus the Aggies. Tennessee's favored by 3. Dave?
Oh, I'm going Texas A&M.
Okay. Stevie?
I liked what I've seen from
A&M as well. I feel like Jimbo lost that game for them against Alabama. I think Jimbo just coached a shitty game. Texas A&M played their asses off. Jimbo didn't do him any favors. I think they're a better team. I think A&M comes out and can cover that.
I completely agree. I think A&M has looked much better than I thought they would. And you lost to a steamrolling Bama team, and I said that Bama is on the roll, so I figured Bama would do Bama things. Next up, we've got Oregon Ducks against the Washington Huskies. This is going to be a big projection, in my opinion, of kind of how the Pac-12 rolls out and possibly a Final Four team rolls out from this game. So this game has a lot of playoff implications. Obviously, the Huskies favored by 3 with Michael Penix just moving up into the Heisman favorite as of yesterday or today, I believe. So, Steve, start with you, big guy.
I had a chance to see Oregon live against Colorado. I have not had a chance to see Washington play a live game, but everything I'm reading and seeing, it says Washington is the real deal. I'm gonna go with Washington. I like what they're doing out there. I like what the stats tell me that what they're doing. I'm anxious to watch them actually play a live game. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm super excited to watch this game too. I'm a firm believer in Oregon. I think what they did against Oregon, or what they did against Colorado was huge. I think Bo Nix is the real deal. I know Michael Penix does a good job, but Washington has looked really, really good, which does concern me a little bit. I got to go Oregon here, though, and I'm probably wrong. This is one of those ones where my gut's like the Huskies is probably going to get this done, but the brand and just the history of Oregon is telling me to go that way. Like this is where the hype of the underdog, or like the Washington brand isn't that big, and this is where I feel like this is where the hype dies, where it goes away, and then Washington kind of just falls to the scene. That's my opinion on Washington.
Yeah, so this is a home game for Washington, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a pick 'em, pretty much. I'm gonna have to go Oregon. They really impressed me against Colorado. Some of the other teams they played, they put up a lot of points. I hate picking Nix over Penix, but I think Oregon has the overall better team all around. So I think I'm going to go with Oregon with the +3, which even is a little bit better to me. So
for sure. Next up, we got the Auburn Tigers versus the LSU Tigers. Tigers back at it again. Look, I have not been high on Auburn. I've made that very clear, but LSU has concerned me at times. Their ability to score scares me in the sense of like I want to pick them, but I don't know. I didn't pick them against who they play last week? Mizzou, and I thought Mizzou had them. Mizzou had them in the bag and threw it away. I like the points for Auburn. I think it's enough to get it done. I think it's LSU probably will win, but Auburn has turned me this year, and I like them to cover. If not, pull up a crazy upset.
I am actually going to go with LSU because I think they're going to put up. Auburn's defense actually is pretty good. I would say, you hold Georgia to 27 points, but I think their defense is good, not excellent, great, or elite, and their offense really isn't there. And with LSU, you get a whole ton of offense, but double Swiss cheese defense. So it's like the -11. I think they'll be able to cover just based on how fast that they can score. And I just don't think Auburn's. I mean, their offense. They'll score on LSU, but I just don't know how often they'll score on LSU just based on how their offense has played this year. So I got to go with LSU -11.
I think LSU wins the game. I think LSU at home wins that game by 10. I do not think they cover. I'm going to go with Auburn.
Wow, tricked me up there, little juke.
I know. I saw you starting to drag me over to LSU. I knew I'd have a little something in the bag for you.
Dave, North Carolina versus Neil U.
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna go with North Carolina here. I think they score a lot of points. Was not impressed with Miami's. Even if Miami had won the game against Georgia Tech and actually went into victory formation like they should have, I probably would still pick North Carolina because I was not impressed with them keeping it close with a 2-3 Georgia Tech and then not kneeling the ball, fumbling it, and losing the game. So yes, I'm going with North Carolina.
Golly, this was one of these things where it could just suck the life out of your season and just break your soul, and you can't bounce back from it. 3.5 in Miami. Nobody's going to show up for that game just because they're still pissed off about last week. I mean, it'll be like 18 people in the stands. 9 of them will be North Carolina fans. I'll say North Carolina. I can't pick Miami for nothing. No, I can't trust that team.
Yeah, look, I think Tyler Van Dyke is the greatest quarterback in the ACC behind Drake May, Jordan Travis, and the rest of the ACC. But look, it's UNC by a million. The fact that this game is a 3-point spread is just blasphemy to me. This is an absolute steal.
The fact that Miami's still ranked in the AP poll is stupid.
Yeah, you got to put your mortgage on UNC, boys. Money line +3, +5. Change. If look on some apps you can change it to +15, change it to +10. Miami sucks. Next up, we've got Notre Dame versus USC. Close one here. Basically a pick'em game. It's at USC. Steve, you're up.
So TC Kellerman in the chat is saying that the points are wrong on the USC Notre Dame game, but I've got Notre Dame 2.5. And that's what you got. What Kellerman? What are you seeing on there? We'll roll with the 2.5 now. But if something changed, look, I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. Is just he's good. I just feel like Notre Dame is going to be able to come out there and win that game. They have played some good teams back to back. They have had a tough 4-game run, and I think that they're going to be well prepared. So I'm going to go with Notre Dame to cover that.
Well, they get to.
Yeah, I mean, whoops. Yeah, I have to go with Notre Dame too. I mean, they've had some really close games with some really good teams, and I just feel that eventually they're going to win one. And the fact that USC's defense, not really that good. And I know that Notre Dame obviously has a great quarterback, so does USC. I just don't feel that USC will be able to compete with their defense. So I'm going to go pick Notre Dame with plus 2.5.
I am beyond frustrated with USC. I've got $50 on them to win, and they looked atrocious against Arizona. I was just in complete awe of how shitty they looked. But Notre Dame has been through the gauntlet. They're coming off ass whooping after close game. And USC, I mean, yeah, that was a close one against Arizona, but was it really, right? I got to believe in USC. I picked them to be a Final Four team. 2.5 is it's basically, like I said, a pick 'em. It's going to be at USC. It's going to be their first real game. And, I mean, outside of the Colorado game, but in reality, like the first real true test, I think, that they're going to have to face some adversity. Although Arizona gave them a little bit of a run, they weren't up, but they still got it done. I think they're going to be up. They're going to be ready to rock, as is Notre Dame. I got to take USC here.
I can respect that. Caleb Williamson's hard to bet against. You just don't know what you're going to get. You could get the finger paint Utah game. Caleb Williams.
I changed their name. I changed it. They're the Caleb Williams Trojans. They're no longer a USC. It's the Caleb Williams show. Lincoln Riley's not even doing anything on the sidelines anymore. Next one here, I'm taking Seasmon Beef. I forgot to change it back, but
I know I was a little disappointed there.
Yeah, that team has really earned my trust. I watched that Utah game. They look legit. That team is going to be a force to be reckoned with. That Oregon State game is going to be something special too, especially if Oregon gets a W this week. I still don't expect Oregon to kind of roll through. They got obviously USC and then Oregon State. And Oregon State has the SEC style type of defense and the West Coast offense. They are a nasty little bunch there. I know they took the L against Washington State, but it was they beat Washington State, didn't they?
Yes,
yeah, they did. Who'd they lose to then?
They lost, you said Oregon State. They lost to Washington State, 35-38.
Oh, they did lose to Washington State.
Okay. And Washington State has fallen off since then. But it was a close game. I mean, they fought back. I think they kind of figured out their rhythm. So I like Seasmon Beaver here. Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going with my mother's Beaver as well.
I'm going with his mother's Beaver too.
Okay. Look, I think that's fair.
Angry Beavers.
Everybody's on my mom's Beaver. I think we're all in.
I mean, yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Well, at least somebody's on the dog.
We've got it surrounded, right? Like the Beaver's in check, right?
Everybody's on
the Beaver is under siege.
All right, we're gonna get canceled.
Everybody's on Holly's Beaver, and everybody's not on the Cox. So,
oh boy. Well, what happens if we have a Beavers? Okay, let's just say hypothetically, Oregon State and South Carolina meet in a bowl game. Like, what do we do? What do we do here?
If that happens, bro, like
Cox are your mom's.
we got to bring Josh back on for that. We got to find out what his opinion would be on that game.
God, we're children. We're children. We are absolute.
I used to run a professional podcast, and now I've become one of you guys. You know that, right?
Oh, my gosh.
So basically what you're saying is that we drug you down to our level and then beat you with experience.
Yeah. This is unbelievable.
I just
Boys, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. All right, let's take a quick look before we wrap this thing up at the depth chart here. So Eugene Wilson getting the nod. Aiden Mizell coming in there because it looks like Andy Jean is out with a chest injury. So Matt Mizell slide on in. Hopefully we'll get to see him on the football field. We've been asking for him. So that'll be good. And Marcus Burke also making the list as well. So good to see that. Like I said earlier, Austin Barber will be back. And then Cameron Waits, who stepped in last week, also sitting behind him. So look, the depth is starting to look a little thick again here. Who is still missing, it looks like, is our center. Jake Slaughter's getting the start.
Yep.
Okay.
Pull the injuries aren't showing on the screen for everybody.
They're on the bottom.
There you go, yeah. And Andy Jean's out too. I'm trying to figure out what the injury status is on Andy Jean. It says lower body. I think it's an ankle, but
lower body. Okay.
Yeah.
Jalen Kimber, Jordan Castell, but the other safety is Bryce Thornton and Miguel Mitchell. So be interesting to see how that plays out. Still no Kamari Wilson, although again he did dress up last week. We heard, and the rest of it looks pretty much the same as it's looked all year. You know what I have noticed though?
What's that?
Little subtle change in that quarterback room.
Oh yeah, Max Brown second.
Yeah, old Jackie M slid on down to the third. I think he is hung it up.
He did come in after Mertz did for Vanderbilt. So, and Miller had that injury at the beginning of the season. I don't know how that injury is holding up there too. And you've heard Spurrier talk about Micah Leon, and from what I've seen from him, he looks good. But I don't know what he would look like in actual game time. But I mean,
the fact that he's on the list shows that there's definitely some interest there for sure on what he's been able to do.
He's 5'2", 220, man.
Well, that means he has to dress out, right? If he's on the depth chart, he's officially dressed. What does the GR mean? Is he graduated? Is he a grad transfer? Is it what is that stat? What does GR mean?
He's a walk on.
Yeah, he's already graduated, but he could have walked on, whatever.
Guys, we need 10 likes for 200 likes.
6'5", 220. That's not that kid ain't
That's a big
small.
boy.
My gosh,
that's a big boy. All right, boys, let's go into the best segment of the week. Tweets of the week.
Yes.
Dave? You want to talk about your balls now, or?
Oh, yeah, I can talk about my balls real quick here. Fall weather's here, folks, and No Shave November has nothing on what I'm about to give you the scoop on right now. Manscaped.com has all the corners and crevices covered when it comes to the leaves on your trees when you order your Performance Package 4.0 today at Manscaped.com. And if you want to save 20% plus get free shipping, your boy David Soderquist has the hookup for you today when you use promo code HIGHTOP20 on any item Manscaped.com has at checkout. The Performance Package 4.0 has worked out wonders for me down in the nether regions. I'm not going to show you. And it can do the same thing for you. You combine that with the Weed Whacker and the Crop Preserver when things get a bit chappy down there, and your marbles will feel like golden nuggets once again. If you need that extra ball support, also check out Manscaped.com's anti-chafing boxer briefs as well. Use promo code HIGHTOP20 today at Manscaped.com to get free shipping and 20% off on all items on the website, and let your October make your Cocktober happy for you and your significant other. Manscaped.com, the ultimate best in men's grooming.
Could you imagine?
I thought you said you used to run a professional show, and now I thought you said we brought you down to this level.
Could you imagine if the Cox played the Beavs in a bowl game and it was sponsored by Manscaped? I mean, just
God, why?
Hear me out. Hear me out. All right, just give me the stage. give me a second here.
Why Manscaped isn't like the sponsor of every USC Trojans game. I don't understand.
You know what the best part is about that? The best part about that ad read is that it's a professional company sending that to us.
Yeah, that's theirs. That's theirs.
and you know what? When I talk to them, they influence that. They say whatever you want. So I'm like, okay.
I mean, I don't know anymore.
I took their original ad read. They sent me and doctored it up a little bit. Hope you liked it.
Oh gosh.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. This clip is absolutely incredible. This thing is going to be forever viral. Anytime I
go ahead and fail the try. Take a knee.
Hear that
one? Run back.
No.
That poor. Go to this one.
Yep.
Okay. Hold on.
What the fuck are we doing out here? I asked you. What in the fuck are we doing here? What the?
That's what he said on the sideline. You can read his lips. Exactly.
I appreciate you adding the audio clip to it. That's huge for us. Thank you for that.
Can you make it to where it's bigger so we can see him? If anybody hasn't seen that tweet, it actually mimics his mouth. It actually looks like he's saying.
What the fuck are we doing out here? I asked you. What in the fuck are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing?
That's exactly what he says.
We have completely lost all control of this show. I don't.
Thank you.
It's after. Hey, look, it's 10:02. It's after 10 o'clock.
We're good.
Yeah, it's
after hours.
It's after 10.
Hours.
Yeah.
I swear it's nothing bad. It is nothing bad. It's just hilarious.
Texas fans on Twitter trying to blame the officiating or insinuating they had an off game at Oklahoma, played their A game. This is all I see, and it's two Texas fans hugging.
Oh, you gotta hear it. It's great.
Like bawling hugging. Hey, to be fair, I was the same way after that Texas game. This is actually after the game, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, the crazy part is one of the guys has gone to the Texas-Oklahoma game a couple of times, right? And if you hear him out,
how do you know this background? Oh, okay, go ahead.
What? So one of the guys who's crying is basically saying that he's been to the Texas-Oklahoma game, and each time he's come to the game, Texas has lost. And he's basically crying on his buddy's shoulder, saying, "I can never come back. I can never come back again. He's literally just given up on life and ever coming back to that game because he feels like he is just jinxed his team into an oblivion. Like he's just sobbing uncontrollably. It's amazing."
I hope he's like really drunk or something, because if you're a grown man crying at a football game like that.
I mean, that's how I am every Saturday. So I feel his pain. I'm there. This is great. This is from a Miami message board. It says, this is from a Miami fan, taking a knee should be banned. That's a pathetic clipboard egghead tactic that has no place on the gridiron. Okay, someone thought of it once. It should have been banned the next year as a disgraceful and cowardly avoidance of the game. Play through the end, and if someone beats you, you lost. End of story. Deal with it, including against Georgia Tech. One loss, big deal. Move on, stronger. Mario is a badass and has a chance to embrace his mistake as a philosophy. This is kudos to this guy for bouncing back like a G. Taking a knee. What was that?
Whoa, what was that? Yeah, credit to message board geniuses for that one, by the way. If you don't follow message board geniuses on Twitter, they're hilarious. They go around to every message board and pick like some of the funniest stuff that people say on there, and they post it on Twitter.
That's incredible. I love that.
Doing the Lord's work out there for us.
Exactly.
So we don't have to.
Next up, we've got Connor Clark. Shout out to our board, Connor Clark. X knows the fan base way too well, and X, he means Xavier Filsamy. Tweeted his offer, and 5 minutes later, tweeted a UF pick. It's that kind of situational awareness that makes him an elite safety prospect.
Yeah, he knows. He knows those Florida fans will be like, "What is he going to Texas? Oh my god!" And then I get like 1,000 messages. So I'm glad he posted that.
Yeah, I love it. We made a video. So next from Hannah Grace 11, looks like she's a Gator fan. Elite stat she tweeted, and it says, "Sad fact of the day: Mario Cristobal has yet to win a home game versus any ACC team. He's 0-5 at Hard Rock Stadium, being outscored by an astonishing 182-84. He was hired in December 2021. I love how she just hits it with elite stat.
Oh man,
Cristobalin,
too good.
That's a lot. Like, and to be fair, I saw somebody talking about like a lot of people were complaining about it wasn't a fumble, and then I saw Dave, you tweeted where the guy like slid before the goal line, and they're like, the officiating's so bad. The real question here is, why were you only up 20-17 against Georgia Tech at home?
Right, you should have been that
way.
Look, guys, we're trying to nitpick. Should have kneeled, shouldn't have fumbled. You shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have came down to that, big boy. Okay, you're looking at the wrong situation here. That was not your problem. Your problem was the 3 quarters before that.
Yeah, you should have been up by like 30, and if you fumbled the ball, it wouldn't have mattered.
Exactly. The fumble should have caused for you not to cover, and you should have upset bettors at home. That's the only thing that should have happened.
That's the only thing that should have been upset were people who had some money on the line, and you maybe just disrupted the over/under. That's about the only thing that should have been upset in that game. Anything else is your own damn fault, you moron.
Enough said.
Twitter's been so funny this week, man, with all the Miami fans. It's been hilarious.
It's been on a burner.
Amazing.
This is great. I watched this and I was like, this is incredible. Would love for some fire from Billy here. Yeah, we're gonna take a listen here.
A follow-up to what you were just about, Drew. Is there a balance though between, hey, we need you to throw the ball deep no matter, just take a shot. Don't overthink it. Take a shot. We need to see it. We're going to call it. And we need you to get some confidence in doing this, as opposed to even giving a young quarterback the chance to say, hey, just check it down if it's not there.
I don't really understand what you're saying, because we would never, like, I'm like, my skin is curling when you say just drop back and chuck it deep no matter what. Like that is like, I don't even know what you're saying. It's like you're speaking like from
just
Mars.
Just send a guy on a post pattern, take the shot, throw it.
No matter what.
Give your receiver a chance to make a play on a ball. Even if he might be covered 30 yards down the field, maybe you think he'll be open 45 yards down the field, and like Godwin did, or with Jahan or KJ.
We I still don't, like, you're speaking Japanese. Like we have never done that. Just throw the ball up and maybe he'll be open and maybe he'll catch. Like, my skin is like you're making me uncomfortable. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, we would not do that. We would never do that. We've never thought about doing that as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator, as a receivers coach. I coached the receivers. I didn't want them to do that. So no, strong, no. Like, yeah. No.
You could tell he's like New York Italian. Like, it came out there for a quick second. Like, yeah. like
my skin is crawling.
My skin is crawling out. We would never. Like, it's like he's worked really hard to like hide it, and it was like he was back home at the dinner table. Like, what do you mean we throw it over the top? Like, I thought I was listening to David Leon. Like, what are you talking about? What, are you gonna throw it over the top? Like, what are you fucking Frank?
Look what you've done to your mother.
Look what you've done. What are you doing? You know, bro.
You're trying to kill her.
What, bro? While I'm listening to the guy ask the question, I'm like, is that our chat? It's like our chat got a hold of the mic and was like, hey man, like, why don't I just sling the shit? You know what I mean?
Well,
just hey, if he's not open 30, he might be open 45. Just give it a shot.
The sad part is this guy actually has credentials to ask questions in a press conference,
and he he doubled down. He doubled down.
What was funny is like, if you look at Franklin's face, it's like emotionless the whole time he's asking the question. He doesn't move. He's just like looking at him like he's an idiot.
Yeah, like we're playing just Madden, right? Like, hey, I'm just, it's 3rd and 14. I've been checking it down. We've been running some screen passes, some short slants. Let me just hit B. Let me just hit B and hold it down and just loft the thing. Let me just see what happens.
Why don't you hit the B button instead of the A button?
I wish Billy would get one of those questions. I would love to see how he respond. That would be great.
Golly. No offense to Billy, but the answer wouldn't be nearly as good as that. There's 50, no shot.
50 ball? What? Never. We would never.
Never. I've never done it as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator, bro, as a wide receivers
coach.
In
here? Who the fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is this guy?
Oh my goodness.
Billy got a little spicy, and like his last presser, he was telling Edgar, he's like, it's 2023. I've seen him get a little spicy.
These coaches have had enough. We're halfway through the season, and they've had enough. Boys, what a show. What a show. 300 plus strong all night, 200 likes. Incredible. Shout out to Josh Bray. Shout out to Ricky P for hopping on and dealing with our nonsense. How was the intro, Steve? Was that not gold?
That was amazing. That's the fact that you confused Soder and myself. That you were off on a hot note there. But look, the intro with Ricky P coming in is Jordan from the old school Looney Tunes. What was it? Monstars, the Monstars.
Yeah. Good stuff. Guys, appreciate you guys in the comments as always. A huge shout out to the ones who donated as well. Thank you. Real quick, too, again, the Tebow helmet's over there. We're giving away the Tim Tebow helmet, so be sure to show some love. If you guys want a piece of that Tebow helmet, donate to the My Best Buddies link. Link's in the description for that. It's $20, get you 2 tickets. We're giving that away in 3 days on Friday. I almost forgot. 2 days, actually, now. So be sure to check that thing out, and if you guys want an opportunity, lock and load on that one. But, Steve, Dave, love you guys as always. Go Braves. We bounce back tomorrow. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Go Gators. Love you guys. God bless. Until next time, I'm Sheldon.
I'm Holly.
And I just report the news.
Boogity, boys.
Cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. if I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest.